Hey, what's up? This is Laid Back Luke, DJ and producer, Kung Fu athlete, and dedicated dad. Tears on my t-shirt, tears in my mind. Not too many tears in this vlog. Obviously, Avicii passed away. I am actually still in shock. I teared up once, I cried once, really bad. In this vlog, I'm trying to hold my tears, so if I come across a little bit of business in this vlog, that's just because I'm trying to stay strong. But first, the comments of last week on my In My Mind vinyl vlog. So many good comments, so happy to read this. Shout out to the famous John Sign on the top position of last week and Jay Barrett on the second comment for last week. Thank you guys for the suggestion. Jay Barrett, when you are DJing back-to-back live, the technique doesn't really change. It's more about like looking at your fellow DJ saying, oh, you know, there's a break coming now, or are you gonna do the next one? There's a lot of sign language involved. There were a lot of signs involved with Avicii passing away as well. In this vlog, exclusive info of how I met teenage Avicii, how he did his first and one and only DJ mix compilation with my Super You and Me brand, and I will be giving you insights on how to deal with stress and anxiety, even if you're not a DJ. Let's go into it. And so we're here in New York at the suburbs where I usually stay in this hotel when I have my New York daddy days with my daughter. So much fun times we had today, which I obviously thoroughly enjoyed until I saw the news that Avicii passed away today. Such a shock, and what a loss, what a waste of talent. I'm really hurt today, and so this vlog right here is a tribute to Avicii. Gotta tell you something about his past, about his legacy. Let's just first dive into the past of Avicii. How I met him. Avicii was actually very much similar to you. When I met him, he was a teenager. He was 16 years old, and he popped up on my old laidbackluke.com forum. He heard that I gave advice to young producers, and maybe I could listen to his demo and give him some advice as well. From there on, I started giving him feedback, and he took it really well. He took it so well that within every track I heard back from him, he grew and grew and grew, and pretty much exponentially as well. What I remember that stood out in his tracks were that they were always very melodic. We did a bunch of things in the early days with him. For instance, we did this compilation, this Super You and Me mix CD, where I mixed the one side, he did the other side. One of his first Avicii releases, Ryu, was on Mixmash Records. Not to forget, his first ever DJ show was at my Super You and Me party in Miami. This was in 2009. Look at the Interstellar lineup. This was a very small party. It must have been about 250 people that fitted in the club, and Tim was the guy who was opening the night, and I remember speaking to him before the show, and he was super nervous, but he came in prepared. He played for a super small crowd, and everything went fine. I hope tonight will be fine too. I'll be playing in New York at Marquee tonight, where I'll obviously do a little tribute to Avicii as well. I'm recording the set. If you want to hear the set, there's just a couple of tracks I played from him, obviously to pay my respects. Make sure to hit me up on my Twitter. It's @laidbackluke, and I'll send you a link. But first up, my show, and then I'll get back to you. Let's do this. Amazing times out in New York City. We're right here. We're gonna travel out today to Sacramento. But let me talk about Avicii being thrown into the touring life. His comfort zone was producing, and this is what he loved to do, sitting in the studio, finishing tracks, and all of a sudden he was supposed to tour the globe, tour like a like a maniac, like a madman. And he was never prepared for this. He was never prepared for the DJ life, and he literally got thrown into it. It's a very different thing being a producer, being a DJ. It's totally something else. Being a touring DJ is very, very tough. It's going to be a full day of traveling right now, and then a drive, 2-hour drive from San Francisco to Sacramento. I'm taking you with me in the car. I will tell you more, and I'll keep it a little bit positive this time.
Let's go.
Okay, so that was a 5.5-hour trip out to San Francisco. What I forgot to tell you out in New York is that the first section of my set at Marquee was a tribute to Avicii, and it was tough. To not cry in the booth playing all these wonderful tracks that he had made, it was a heavy moment. Let's talk to you a bit about things I less want to cry about in the car. I gotta keep the camera a little bit straight here, but here we go. What I found was most incredible about Avicii as a young talent was his vision, was his determination. Like, every single day he was out on my forum trying to improve, and I felt like no matter what obstacle he hit, he would always just go through with the bigger picture he had. You can even see this in his documentary where, you know, although he had super anxiety for every single show he needed to play, he kept this up, and he always went out there to face the so-called enemy. He's just one man, one kid with a big dream, and that kid could be you as well. Right now, if you're watching right now, if you have a dream, go ahead and go for it regardless. And so within his legacy, you see he touched millions of people with his music. On the day that he passed away, we had so many producers coming out that said Avicii was such a big influence on their starting career, on their music. People like Kygo, Alan Walker, Chainsmokers, and basically everyone was having the picture of Avicii up. And it's amazing. One kid, one dream. It is fascinating, but don't let this backfire on you. And I'll tell you more about the pitfalls of touring as we hit Sacramento. Whenever you watch my other DJ vlogs and travel vlogs as well, it's always on the go, go, go. There weren't many of them, but I did see a few haters saying, oh, you know, it's so terrible, the DJ life, ugh, such stress, and kind of making fun of it. The reality is, though, that it's such little sleep, so much traveling. Obviously, the shows, the DJing is a lot of fun, but the traveling in between, the touring, the stress, trying to produce, trying to update your social media, doing everything while you're trying to cope and try to bring up the energy for the next show is rough. It's very rough. And I believe this was 2 years ago that I was opening for Avicii in Ibiza. I spoke to him briefly before he got on.
This is the guy who I sent demos to how many years ago? 8 years ago?
Ages ago.
Yeah, 8-9 years ago.
Thank you.
Start off on. Thank you.
He went on, and I sat next to the stage, and I saw him, and I felt his energy, and I saw. It's tough to talk about, but it's pretty clear to me that I had a vision. He was going to join the elite of rock stars like Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, but even Elvis and James Dean and like all the old legends. I even put it in a couple of pieces that I wrote for Billboard and some other pieces. So it's all in there. By putting it out there, I had hoped that this would never happen. And there was a switch. I do think his biggest problem was that he had such anxiety for performing. Say, for instance, if you're afraid of snakes or if you're afraid of heights, and every single night you need to face that same anxiety again, this will break you up at a certain point. Someone tweeted at me as well. She was like, I don't get it. Like, he was super famous and he had millions and still he wasn't happy. Don't be fooled by society. This right here is the truth. So does fame and money really make you happy? If you think that, you might be thinking wrong. What does make me happy is playing my music out in front of a bunch of people. That's exactly what I'm going to do right now here in Sacramento. Probably going to play some more Avicii tracks as well. After I come back from my show, I will give you some concrete tips and advice on how to deal with stress in general, even if you have a normal job. And I want to give you a positive twist to all of this as well. So stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Don't feed into it. If you feed into it, it's going to do nothing but escalate. You know what I'm saying? Man, you.
Such good vibes at this smaller party in Sacramento, California. Luckily, I love DJing, and I love DJing anywhere, even if it's for a great big festival crowd or a smaller crowd on a Sunday afternoon like this. I like DJing, but it was tough doing another tribute to Avicii. I played one at the end of my set, and it's just so... Avicii's passing away had a very strong message. Apart from his wonderful music and wonderful melodies and all the love that he shared with millions of fans, I think it's more important to understand the danger of stress, the danger of pressure, and the danger of anxiety. And it's not only for DJs, it's not only for young talent. I know there's a lot of you watching right now that have anxieties, that are dealing with stress, pressure, daytime job, or a lot of school pressure. How do you deal with this? I have that pretty much under control, and I'm gonna make a vlog about that next week, so make sure to hit that subscribe button right now so you won't miss out. Tim's passing away made me realize how valuable every single second is that you get to live. And some of you are workaholics, just like me. Call it what you want it. I'm a workaholic. But throughout the years, I've only recently really found out how valuable it is to actually live. You know, at the end, say if you would pass away tomorrow, what would you think of that made sense, that was worth it in your life? Is it the money? Is it the fame? Is it your accomplishments? What is it exactly? Maybe good to think about that right now. And another thing that the message of Avicii has is to speak up. Don't be scared to, look weak if you have anxieties. Don't think you are all alone in this. We have friends, we have family. But even outsiders, you can share your story, you can share your anxiety, and people will help you. There's always help, and we could always change any situation to make you feel more comfortable. Within the new talents of DJing, when you start hitting the big tours and the big shows and that sort of thing, what I want to let you know is that you don't need to take on every single show. There's always tons and tons of opportunities. There's always going to be more shows. But even if you're worried about the money, life isn't about money. And you see it, health and happiness is way more important than money, and you can't buy those with money. And what's next? From here on, we just continue. Just keep on making music. Keep making people happy with music, keep people communicating with each other. We're just gonna go through, and Tim, dear Avicii, you will live on in our hearts, in our minds, and through your music, and may you find your calm finally, my dear Tim. But I'll be back here next week. Make sure you tune in as well. L's up, rave safely, and salute.